Remove this cap, use a 22mm socket, and just take these caps off, loosen them up by hand, and slide the cap off. Take the lug nuts off, use the 22mm socket. Move the wheel. We're supporting the lower control arm with a jack stand. You can put this underneath the control arm and lower the vehicle down a little bit just to take some of the tension off the shock. Because the wheel well is in the way, you could always take it off, but it's a little bit easier just to access the top of the shock from inside underneath the hood. So use a 14mm socket and try to take this off. The shock's probably going to spin a little bit. All right, and the nut came off, which is good. So try to get that off. If the stud starts spinning, you want to use some locking pliers underneath and try to get the shaft of the shock to stop spinning. Since you're replacing the shock anyway, you could just put that on the shaft right there, and it's not going to make a difference. Otherwise, you want it as high on the shaft as possible if you were going to reuse the shock. Now we're going to take this bolt out, use a 21mm wrench on this side and a 21mm socket on the other side. Take the nut off first and you can slide the bolt out. There we go. Then the shock will just slide right out. Take the new shock and just exercise it. You need to compress it. And let it extend, and do this 3 times. And take the hardware, and the washer that looks like this is going to go first. Then the bushing. Then after that, this washer that has a little lip on it is going to go like that. That's going to go through the mounting hole on the frame. And then on the top of the frame, you're going to put the opposite one like that, then the bushing, and then the other washer. So this is going to go under the frame, this is going on top of the frame. So let's slide this in position, go through the frame, and you can line the bottom up. If you need to, use a pry bar or just push it into position. Just be careful. Now I'll just use a pry bar. Just get the hole lined up and put the bolt back in. And put the nut on. Snug that down. Now from up top, we're going to add the bushing, the washer. So this one's going to go first, then the bushing, then the top washer. Make sure it's all lined up. And take the nut, get the nut started. Now you're going to tighten this down, use a 17mm wrench. But the stud is spinning, so you want to use some locking pliers to hold that from spinning. Or you can find a wrench that fits. If you have a ratchet wrench, this will be a little bit quicker. And there will be a point where you find that it seems like it bottoms out or it tightens up. At that point, just snug it up a little bit more and that'll be good. Now I'm going to raise the vehicle and remove the jack stand. Put the wheel on. And the lug nuts. Now I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Now I'm just going to go around again, double check. I'm going to take the center cap, line it up, and just with the socket, the 22mm socket, just tighten these down, just snug. Not too tight. You don't want to strip them. Some of these are already stripped.